Thanks for joining us again at the Clive Barker Podcast. In episode 414, Jose and Ryan go over some 4K box set movie release news. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and over 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. Click the side banner and follow the link to the Etsy shop where the artwork has returned from the local galleries. New stuff in there. I just got my second one, Snail Bait. All right, welcome. This is episode number 414 and another news episode. How's it going, Jose?
Hey, Ryan. How are you doing today?
Good. I guess to start out, my microphone died, so my voice is going to sound a little weird because I'm using AirPods right now. I had another microphone too. I had an ONN microphone that I got from Walmart to use for when I'm traveling and stuff. And I tried plugging that in when we were recording our last, doing our last Jericho Squad one when I was editing. And that actually sounded worse than using the AirPods or using my phone as a microphone.
I know. So, that was weird.
I just wrapped it up and I put it in a garage sale pile.
Good. Rest in peace, ATR 2100.
Yeah, exactly. So that one's going to go. I'm getting a Samson Q2U, which is interchangeable with the ATR 2100 ones. So
over the years, you've had a few different microphones, right? Didn't you have one of those Snowball Yetis or whatever?
I had a Blue Snowball, not a Yeti. I had a Blue Snowball, and I had a Samson Meteor mic for a while.
Yeah,
we experimented a lot. Our first year, we had terrible. For a while, we both had really terrible sound quality until we started getting good microphones.
I know. I remember having a really crappy one that I bought that was just like a microphone that you stuck in your ear and had a little plug on the side. And that was just the cheapest microphone ever. Yeah.
Like a gaming one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, this ATR 2100 has lasted like 10 years. And I think I bought yours and mine at the same time, right? I think so. From our very first
mine is still
Kickstarter.
Going strong, but I mean, you've used it a lot. I'm sure you use it a lot more than I do for RPG games with your family, for other podcast projects that you've had before, and stuff like that. So I'm sure you used it
mostly for this. Yeah, I think it's 98% this podcast. But yeah, so it's dead, and it's probably a lot from bumping it around, moving it. The last thing I did was I unclamped it. I clamped it onto a new bookshelf that I put to the side of the desk, and because I've got that extending arm, and I clamped that arm on there. And then when we were doing our Jericho Squad one, it just no sound was coming out of it. It was reading on the computer like it was there, but nobody could hear me, and there's nothing I could do about it.
So just for today, I guess we're gonna have to deal with you and your AirPods. You sound a little tinny, but it sounds fine. In other news, I am also moving again. So I moved a year ago to Cleveland, and now after we finally settled down here a little bit and we got our finances back in order, we decided to look for a house, and we just got an offer accepted for a house here in Cleveland. So if everything goes well, we will start moving again in August, which is next month.
All right.
And this time, hopefully, to a place where I'll stay for a few years.
And you've gone through your home inspection now?
Yeah, we did. We did the home inspection. Then we did the appraisal, which was good because it managed to turns out the house appraisal was a little lower than what they were asking for. So they agreed to go a little lower than what they were asking for after the appraisal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we had some things to fix around the house. So they are giving us a little credit as well for that. And so I'm happy with the new place. It's going to have a really big, interesting basement with a big office that it's funny because when I was looking through the house, Sarah immediately said, "Oh, this this basement is great for your podcast. And then when I showed you images of the house, you were like, oh man, that looks like a great place for you to make a podcast studio. And I was like, yeah. So
I'm jealous of that.
Well, the basement has a little bit of humidity, but nothing that a good old French drain can't fix.
Yeah, in last year's market, they would have made you pay cash over the appraised value, and you'd be competing against other offers.
Yeah, well, we're managing to put in a 20% on the house down payment. So anyway, so August, good. I'm going to be moving in a few weeks, where I'm definitely going to be sounding a little different in a new studio for the podcast.
Yay! And so for people who are wondering about our book, we have not forgotten it.
No, we have not.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. I was on one end, I was working on getting it published, and then Jose was noticing some errors and stuff in there. So I was working on publishing on the Apple side, and Jose was working. You were working on you were noticing some errors, and you're working on some editing, and so that kind of maybe put the brakes on publishing, because we got to take the master file and correct that, and then push it back to the Apple version, and so we need to have one version that gets pushed out to all these different.
So it shouldn't take too long now. The polish pass is almost done, and it just turns out a few words here and there, a few names that were not capitalized, little things here and there that once you go at it with a comb, you start picking up little things that after a while you just look at the text and you think everything's fine, but if you go in and try reading it properly and stuff, there's a few things here and there that transcriptions always give rise to little misunderstandings and formatting things, but it's almost done. It's probably going to be done today, and after that, you'll be able to get the ebook version published, and then the print book will be coming soon.
I'll have to take a day off from work so that I can fight with Apple to get the ebook version online. And then,
I would like to be able to get a test copy of the hardcover by the time that I'm in the new house. That would be great to have that.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's, this Word file is like 300 pages. And once I format it for the actual page size for the hardcover, it might end up being more than 300 pages. I don't know how that's going to turn out. Because when you edit it for the margins and all that, it's going to be a little smaller than a regular letter size, Word page. So it's getting bigger and bigger. Every time we start editing it, it starts getting a little bigger. I just had to add an addendum about the release of Danny Elfman's soundtrack that's going to come out from Entrada, and also the 4K Ultra HD version of 4-disc collector's edition Nightbreed.
Right. That we're gonna talk a little bit about that in our news today too. Yeah. Right. So some quick 2023 additions to the book that we started in 2017.
Yep.
Yeah, and I really need to make a Kickstarter update post to that 2017 Kickstarter, because there are people I've had at least one angry email from somebody who doesn't listen to our podcast and only waits for updates from the Kickstarter, and said the whole reason he bought the book is because he doesn't listen to podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll get that done.
We do have a few corrections, right?
Yeah. Last news episode, which was at 411, right? Because it was the 411. We had talked about, and it wasn't the release date of Hellraiser 2, but it was about the date that it hit #1 in the UK box office, I think it was.
Yeah.
But that wasn't correct. We got a correction from Pete Atkins.
We were celebrating an anniversary of Hellbound, and I was looking at the Barbie Wild post she did on Facebook about it, and he said, this is Peter Atkins, thanks for the Hellbound love, lads. One should never correct a lady, but our lovely Barbie got her dates slightly confused. This year, come December, so 2023 December, will mark the 35th anniversary of Hellbound's USA theatrical release. The recent June anniversary was of the 34th year since we topped the UK charts. Yeah, so there's the correction. Thank you very much, Pete.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Pete. And he also, and I'll skip ahead a little bit because also in that same Facebook chat, he had mentioned, oh, by the way, I should have told you guys about this sooner. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he said he contributed to a new Hellraiser box set that will include Hellraisers 1 through 4. So Hellraiser 1 and Bloodline, all the way through Bloodline, right? All the theatrical releases of Hellraiser.
Yeah, so he says
by Arrow.
All of them together for the first time. Previously, Bloodline had always been relegated to sets with other Miramax direct-to-video sequels. The first 3 movies will feature commentaries from scholarly luminaries Kim Newman and Stephen Jones, and I joined them for a natter on the Bloodline disc, which is going to include a VHS work print copy of an earlier cut as an extra. Don't get too excited. Still no 18th century Cenobites. Sorry not to have told you in time, but the good news is now you have a ready-made item for your next all-news episode. So there you go.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pete. I mean, that's awesome news. And, of course, there were a few, people going, oh, man, I already bought the Scarlet box. It's like, well, this is how these things work. This is what always happens, right? I mean, it's the same exact thing just happened with Nightbreed. Now there's a 4K version of the Nightbreed box set. I mean, what are you going to do?
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. Heck yeah. I mean, I wish they had gotten the rights issues put together for the Scarlet box, but they didn't. But now we'll probably be able to get it in 4K. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be 4K, right? Why wouldn't it be? Or they'll do the best they can. I can't imagine how they could do 4K with Hellraiser 3. Right. And since it was edited on VHS.
I don't think we have that information here on what Pete said, but hopefully it will be an interesting box set. It's going to have a new commentary track apparently, so that's something to look forward to.
No, I'm just to me that's common sense that it would be, but we don't have any source for that at all. That's just speculation. You're right. Yeah, and speaking of 4K, Transmutations, this was thanks to Richard Rich, sent you and I he should have just messaged us together. He messaged us separately. It seems like it's more work to message us individually, but yeah, he sent us messages saying, hey, there's a Kino Lorber insider basically that posted that the 4K version of Transmutations / Underworld was going to come out in October of this year. The posts with the release date have been taken down, and at this point right now, the only place where you can actually see any news that movie is coming out at all is on this the digitalbits.com Dolby Atmos list.
Yeah,
so Kino Lorber themselves.
Hunt. Yep.
Yeah. Kino Lorber themselves is not coming out and saying that this movie's coming out in October. And actually, they don't even have this listed on their website.
Right. It just says Underworld 1985, coming soon, confirmed by KLSC 4K. Mm-hmm. So do we know what KLSC is? I don't really know which one that is.
KLSC?
Yeah, that's what it says here in this website that we were linked to. Yeah. That's fine. So it does seem like they're still working on it, and it would be great if they put it out today. This says this is a list of known 4K Ultra HD titles released, announced, or in the works for the US, UK, and German markets through 2023, compiled from our sources and best available information. So, we still got hope. I mean, hey, Rawhead Rex came out in 4K, and now Transmutations coming out in 4K. And when that does, it's going to be really cool. Maybe we'll have people making fan edits of Transmutations try to fix that movie a little bit. I don't know.
I don't like fan edits. But anyway, I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
I bought a 45 single by Freuer, which I think are the band that makes the music for this, right?
Right.
I bought a 45 single. That's not a song that's in this movie at all, but I just got it because Freuer. I never heard of these guys before, except for that, the soundtrack they did for Transmutations. So I got it. It was pretty synthy, pretty good. It's a pretty cool music.
when we were doing the audio commentary for Transmutations, and we had both noticed that the soundtrack was like in the movie, right? Like it's loud when they're outside, and then when they come in, it's quiet, or it was the other way around.
Oh yeah, yeah. When
so it was like
Mad Dog
it's like,
or whatever, Red Dog was trying to get into kidnap the girl, right? In the beginning.
Yeah. So I thought I always think about that, and when I was watching Highlander, I noticed it happened again. There's a scene in Highlander where the Kurgan is in his car and he takes a cassette tape and puts it in his player, and it's Queen, and Queen is singing about him. It says like, "I'm the one, I'm the only one, I'm the God of Kingdom Come. Just give me the prize."
Right.
And I'm like, what are you? He's playing a song about himself by Queen on his car stereo.
It's great. I love that movie.
Yeah.
That battle, that first battle in the parking garage with the sparking swords everywhere. It's just, I love that movie.
Fazil, wait.
Yeah. And even I was a big fan of the TV show with Adrian Paul, I think was his name.
I don't understand that TV show. What's the deal with that? Why is that guy, why is that his cousin?
Well,
why is that Connor's cousin?
Yeah, because I guess they couldn't get Christopher Lambert for that, so they just started a movie with like, this is also from the Clan MacLeod, right? So
I was visiting a friend of mine in college at his dorm one time, and we went over to like one of his neighbors who was watching the Highlander show, and they woke up some lady who was like an immortal in Egypt, right? And she woke up, and it was like had been like 5,000 years that she was asleep. And she woke up and she said, "Teach me your ways. I know nothing of your ways," or something. And Adam said, "Yeah, and teach me your language while you're at it too."
And I bet she asked that in perfect English, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good times, man. Good times. I had fun with it. They really expanded on the mythology with like the Watchers and all that stuff. And anyway, Transmutations in 4K coming soon, possibly in October from Kino Lorber.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope it does come out in October. That'll be cool.
But people have been receiving their copies of the 4K Ultra HD Nightbreed, right? I think this was supposed to come out just in August 1st, but some people are already getting their copies in the mail.
Yeah, not me. I ordered mine like first thing as soon as that news came out. But of course, I'm in Alaska, so they're probably I'm probably going to be the last one to get it. But our friends at Little Spark Films even did an unboxing video, right? So we've got a link there in the show notes. You can check it out.
It looks really nice. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess your copy is not in the barge yet.
Yeah. When it comes, I'll have to do my obligatory laying out all of my Nightbreed stuff and taking a picture of it.
Yeah, I like the new artwork for the Blu-ray. Looks like they got the alternate slipcase, and it's got 4 discs, right? The first and second, I believe, are with the theatrical cut. So there's one Ultra HD disc with the theatrical cut, restoration 4K from 2023. I think there might be a new commentary track with some film critics. Then there's a second disc, which is the theatrical cut again, but this time just the regular Blu-ray, not the Ultra HD. The third disc is the director's cut in HD, I believe. And then the fourth disc is basically just extras. Right. And it's got all the stuff that came before in that big deluxe edition of the director's cut.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. They can't put the director's cut in Ultra HD because it was edited in HD.
Yeah, it's a shame. I know some people aren't happy about that, but even having the theatrical in 4K, to me, it's pretty fun, and it's something we've never had before, so I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. So the Clive Barker Archive has a new blog post. They got some new stuff into their archive, so people should check that out. A lot of it is new foreign editions of books. There's a Candyman Pop figure,
a Funko Pop.
There's an autographed book with a sketch. Hardcovers or some new editions of I think there's like the Books of Blood that's got the cover based on the movie. And
yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's the Multiverses anthology where Clive Barker has two poems, one of them from the Aberrat.
Yeah.
Yep, and the other one I think might be unpublished.
The Suntup version of Imagica, which I'm jealous about that. The Fangoria with the new Hellraiser on the cover.
Yes, the Dark Side Books, new volume of the Books of Blood from Brazil, I believe, and the new Candyman 4K Ultra HD releases. You can see all of that and read all the stuff in Phil and Sarah's blog post.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a link there, so in our show notes, so check that out.
Yeah. And if you haven't gotten the Clive Barker's Dark Worlds, get it from the Clive Barker Archive.
Yeah. Yep. And these links are on our show notes. If you're listening to the podcast on a podcast player, you can usually click on the links. If you're seeing this on YouTube, the links don't work, but you can go to clivebarkercast.com and find all the links on the blog post there.
Still on the Nightbreed map. And Bobby, right? She's going to be in attendance at a Clive Barker Nightbreed Director's Cut screening on Friday, August 18th during the 2023 Popcorn Frights Festival in Fort Lauderdale.
Right,
and she will also be showing a sneak peek of her new film, Kindling. So that's something to put on your calendar.
Yeah, so check that out. Ann Bobby's longtime friend of the show. She was our one of our very first interviews that we did on this podcast, and she also wrote the introduction to our book that we're gonna eventually get out here soon. Looking forward to that. I wish I could go Fort Lauderdale. Actually, if it wasn't so short notice, I might try to put something together for that because my dad lives near there. I'd go visit my dad and go visit Ann Bobby and see that. Yeah,
that would be nice. I think it's just going to be her then, and a sneak peek of her new film, Kindling. So again, that's Friday, August 18th at the Popcorn Frights Film Festival. And it's always great to be able to see a screening on a big screen of the Clive Barker's Director's Cut of Nightbreed. Even if the map, the poster that they used for this is that terrible poster. Laurie thought she knew everything about her boyfriend. Laurie was wrong. Oh my God, I just hate that poster so much. It's just so terrible, right?
Yeah, well, it makes it look like it's a slasher movie and that Boone is the murderer. Which, to be fair, is what they try to fool you with that at the first third of the movie or so.
Mm-hmm. So there's some more news about Nicholas Vince, I believe. So Nicholas Vince is finally doing a world premiere of I Am Monsters. So his theater one-man show has now become a documentary, a movie of sorts, right? From stage to screen. So now you'll be able to see Nicholas Vince at Frightfest in London on Sunday, 27th of August. That's going to be the world premiere of I Am Monsters, presented in collaboration with Dark Rift Horror. And they also have another movie that they're premiering that day where Nicholas Vince has a cameo, right? I think it is called
How to Kill a Monster, or How to Kill Monsters.
How to Kill Monsters. Yeah. From Dark Rift Horror's How to Kill Monsters. He says, I have a great cameo in this, and I can honestly say, based on watching an early cut, this is laugh out loud funny. So if you're going to be able to attend Frightfest London 2023, the dark heart of cinema, that's going to be around Cineworld Cinema Leicester Square, 24th to the 28th of August of 2023.
Congrats to Nicholas Vince, and if you're able to go see that, you should probably go check it out. And one little bit of news that we kind of skipped over here, I think actually I did that, but CPA Authentic Autographs, they posted some photos of Clive Barker doing some autographs of their stuff, because the way they work is you mail them stuff and they get it signed by people and they send it back to you. So they posted some photos of Clive signing people's stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We've got a link in the show notes that you can check it out.
Yeah, just 2 hours ago, we found this just before we were preparing to record. It says, Clive Barker signing complete. The legendary Clive Barker has completed his signing. Clive thanked everyone for sending in and pre-ordering his signature. The variety of items sent was incredible. Items from this signing will start shipping mid-August. Thank you for everyone for their patience on waiting for this signing to be complete. So this is actually at Clive's house, I think. I recognize the kitchen counter, right?
Right. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And he's just signing all these things, posters, books, DVDs. Some of this stuff I don't even know what it is, but a lot of interesting stuff. And of course, Clive is signing with his signature unbuttoned shirt. First picture, you see it? He's got his shirt completely unbuttoned, just really cutting it loose and comfortable in his kitchen, signing a bunch of books. It's great to see Clive doing this stuff.
And this was just something I noticed this morning on Facebook. There was a post in one of the Facebook groups. What it is Roy Robbins of Bad Moon Books had posted an eBay link to an alligator skin edition of Maximillian Bacchus, which was super rare at the time that those came out, and it's rare now. And he said, PM me for a better price. And he posted an eBay link to it. And that was like $1,100, right, for the one. So if anybody's interested in getting that, you can send him a direct message, and he will get you a better price, and we'll fix the link, here before these show notes come out.
Yeah, it looks like this might be one of the 26 signed, lettered, and tray case copies in alligator leather, but the alligator is in quotes, so I don't think it's real alligator leather. It might be imitation alligator leather, because I don't think Clive Barker would support anything wrapped in alligator leather. It looks like a pretty interesting book from the outside, but that is a chance for you to get Clive Barker signed Adventures of Mr. Maximillian Bacchus lettered edition in a tray case. I think there's only 26 of those in the world, so yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So we put out a listener topic. Well, actually, there's a couple. The first one is actually we got both an email and a Reddit post from the same person about this topic. He said, "Anyone have scans of the Imagica collectible card game?" And I think this guy is more of a collectible card fan, maybe, than a Clive Barker fan. And so some people pointed him to us, and so he wrote to us and asked us if we have scans of all of the cards. And it's like, no, because I collect them. I have the whole collection. I don't want to scan them, so I don't. But if there's anybody out there that has scanned the whole thing, I guess, and maybe he's looking to reproduce them instead of paying for them on eBay. I'm not sure what the deal is here. But you can also, you can go on eBay, and we've got links that, we've got blog posts that list the entire collection of all of them, so you can match the names up with eBay sold listings and get the pictures and do it that way if you want to. It'll be a little bit of work, but not as much work as if you make somebody who owns the collection scan all of them. So.
Right. Yeah. You can always find over the internet, there's plenty of people who have posted pictures of all of those. I guess you just have to go hunt for them if you don't want to buy the whole collection.
Yeah.
I do agree with him, though. The art is beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And then in anticipation of this, talking about Pete Atkins' news about this new Arrow Hellraiser box set, I put out the question, what would be the perfect Hellraiser box set? And I put that on our Discord and on our private Hellraiser Facebook group, the BarkerCast listeners group. And so on the listeners group, Mark Daniker said, all uncut versions in 4K color corrected and cleaned with Part 4 work print and Peter Atkins' excellent unrealized screenplay.
Right.
So I think Mark Daniker is pretty close, right? I think that's just about probably what we're going to get. I don't know if the screenplay is going to be included or not. And I don't know what he means by uncut. Is there, I guess
he means the unrated versions. Yeah.
Yeah, but Hellraiser 1 there's no unrated version of that. As far as I know, there's just one version of the first movie. Hellraiser 2, there's a slightly different version of that movie.
Yeah, don't get me started on different versions. I'm not that kind of like movie fan. I don't know which one is the unrated, which one has like Pinhead doing this or that guy getting his face chained off or something like that. I mean, I know there's some versions. There's definitely unrated versions of some of the Hellraiser movies and little things that have been cut.
I think 2 and 3 have unrated versions, right, that are a little slightly different, but not very different. I think it's like the running time is just seconds, maybe different.
I get what he's saying when he says the uncut versions of all the movies. Yeah. With everything that was originally before, before the censors or whatever, before those people for the ratings board, before they started chopping the movie. Yeah, I would like to have the unrated versions, yes.
Derek Neal says 1 to 3, recut Bloodlines with deleted scenes, an updated FX, and an HD version of a new film. Of the new film. Oh, he's talking about the new. Yes. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I agree. I guess if they're going all the way to the new film, they might as well throw in all the other ones for completionists.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of my favorite sets is the one that has all of the Nightmare on Elm Street DVDs. I love that set. And I would like to see something that for Hellraiser. Even though some of the movies I probably wouldn't give them another watch, but it would be cool. Although maybe a little expensive to have all 11 Hellraiser movies.
Right,
with
a big
all the spin-offs, like that Gary Tunnicliffe. What's the name of that short he did with
Revelations?
No. The one that's Pinhead. No More Souls.
No More Souls. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, and all of the previously available commentary tracks. That would be a heck of a thing. But why not?
Yeah. No More Souls. Yeah. I totally agree with Derek, though, because we need to have the new movie on a disc. So, yes. Dustin Vanderpool says the short story written by the English dudes from the Hellraiser podcast. And a link to Jose's and your podcast. And the Sherlock Holmes book. He wrote, I just pandered to my Facebook friends, but I genuinely mean it. So thank you, Dustin.
Piercing the Veil is the production that he's talking about from the Hellraiser podcast with Phil and Peter.
That's a great production, and I agree. But also, if we're including those things, then I would include the audio drama of the Hellbound Heart by Paul Kane. Because why not? Yeah, because that's really good, right?
It is very good.
If we're putting all this audio stuff in there. And so in our Discord, Kamui003 said, I'd like all the interviews and commentary tracks from different releases. More importantly, I'd love a version of Hellraiser that doesn't dub over Sean Chapman's voice. And, we know why they did it, right? Because why would Larry have a brother who's English and he's an American?
Yeah, I can see
think
that.
That's the that's the pragmatic reason for that. And of course, it's problematic because you've got an actor that you're kind of compromising his performance.
There is a trailer, I believe an English or international trailer that has Sean Chapman's voice.
When he's standing at the door and asking to come in from the rain, right? You hear his actual voice.
Yeah. Do you have a towel?
Yeah. Exactly. In the original Hellraiser, there's 4 different people playing Frank. If you count.
Oh, wow. So 3 actors and 1 voice actor, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because you got Sean Chapman, you got, of course, the guy, Larry. You've got Oliver Smith playing Frank the Monster, so that's 3 people. And then the guy who makes the voice, right?
Right, yeah, so 4 people playing Frank. Very complicated. I thought this was kind of an interesting question, though. What would you want to see in a Hellraiser box set?
Well, this is like what would you do if you won the lottery, right? It's one of those questions like, of course, you can add whatever you want to it, but whether it's realistic or not, that's a different story. Yeah, I would love to see a set that would bring a little version, book version, paperback version of the Hellbound Heart. I think that would be an interesting thing to add to a Hellraiser box set. You know, you remember when way back when, before this whole Occupy Midian thing, there was one guy in one website who once did his dream box set for Nightbreed. And his dream Nightbreed box set would have a little paperback of the Cabal book in the packaging. So he made this like mock-up, and I don't know if I can find it anymore. We're talking early 2000s when this stuff came out.
Yeah, I think that you posted that, or you were talking about it at the time when we were talking about the making the Cabal.
I do love the Scarlet Gospels. It is very much an approximation of the ideal set that I would like to have.
You mean the Scarlet Box?
The Scarlet Box, yes. Sorry, the Scarlet Box, not the Scarlet Gospels. Because I would like to have the fourth one in there. So I might be one of those suckers who's gonna buy this for Hellraiser set because I like Nightbreed. I just like it. I mean, I like Bloodline. It's just I find it really close to my heart because it was one of the last movies I saw in the theater, a Hellraiser movie. So, and I still like Pinhead in space. I like the whole thing that happens. And I like the work print cut that they're going to include, which is going to have things like the holographic priest and stuff like that, which are late reshoots and rewrites, but it's still kind of cool to see those things that we had never seen up to this point. And I think there's still people out there who might have never seen any parts of the work print that came out in the early 2000s. So I think that would be a really terrific disc to add to the Hellraiser box.
Well, and we've talked about this endlessly when we talked about Nightbreed and what could be. You know, you look at Alien 3 as an example. When they made that Alien box set and they did the Alien 3 with work print footage of those with those giant beasts that they had on the planet. That the alien didn't come out of a dog; it came out of one of these giant like beasts of burden they had. They're like yaks, kind of.
It's like
but they put in work print footage into the movie, to say, look, we can't give it to you like like movie footage because this is all we have, but this will tell you what the movie would have been like, and I think that's great. That's what it would be.
Definitely.
It's not. It can't be made perfect, but it can show you the direction that the movie could have been, which is neat.
There definitely are a bunch of movies like that with productions that were a little troubled, like Nightbreed, like you said, Alien 3, like Bloodline, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Those are movies that horror fans tend to gravitate a little bit, especially movies that had troubled productions, because there's all this kind of drama around
3,
it.
Right? Exorcist 3.
Right. And then there's stuff that you can find here and there, or extras or cut scenes and deleted stuff. Mm-hmm. And it just becomes fascinating to see how the sausage is made, right? You see, they were going to do this, and then they changed it to that. And then the production didn't have enough money to do this, so they decided to go that way instead. And I think that's what attracts us to these troubled films. Sometimes it's an idea that somehow they have multiple different versions out there, like Blade Runner and stuff. And it's just fun to be able to cherry pick. And that's where, you don't like fan edits, but that's where fan edits come in sometimes. People like to, let's put all the scenes back into the movie and see how that works. Or in the case of Hellraiser, there's not a lot of stuff like that, except for maybe Hellraiser 4, which has that work print. So it's a material that people can play with and see.
I don't like fan edits where it's like, I think I can do a better job than the director.
Sure.
I do like, I like a fan edit if a director like throws their hands up and walks away and all of the stuff is there and like, well, this is what I think the director was trying to do.
Sure.
If they're trying to give something to the fans that we almost got, but we didn't, then then I can kind of see it. But, it's like, I don't like what the director did. I think I can do a better job.
Sure. Ultimately, that's why I call it fan edit. It's just sometimes it's just a person that thinks, you know what? What if the movie, like there's I think I mentioned this before. There's like a Tarantino version of Star Wars. You know, like the guy cut it like a grindhouse and made some effects here and there and dubbed some characters and made it a completely different film. Like Yoda only screams out Japanese lines from some samurai movie or whatever. And
that's not my thing.
And he cut lines from James Earl Jones into the movie when Darth Vader is that are not from the Star Wars movie. So they just make it a little more humorous.
And I want to say a caveat to that. I don't consider the Cabal cut. I'm not including the Cabal cut when I say I don't like fan edits. I love the Cabal cut. Yeah.
So, to some extent you understand the potential that can be there when there's a lot of material that never made it to the final version.
Yeah. Coming soon, I am going to we recorded the Jericho Squad episode, right? Our the 19th Jericho Squad episode. And that's going to be hopefully the last thing with this bad with my microphone dead. And so and then after that I should have the new microphone.
This one is a little Squad, dodgy, but yeah.
Jericho Squad 77 will be coming out. We're going to be coming back to the A to Z of horror, Z for zombie, because zombies never die. And so we're just going to keep on doing Z for zombie forever, it seems like. And so we've got Land of the Dead we'll be doing.
Yeah.
And more classic commentaries and more news episodes.
I don't have Shudder, but I think the latest Joe Bob Briggs thing was Land of the Dead and another zombie movie that happened just this week.
Really?
So, I got to look into that, see if I can find out if that was Land of the Dead that they talked about. I did see a picture, Diana Prince from the Joe Bob Briggs drive-in theater. She posted a picture on Instagram dressed as with a mask of Pinhead. That's cool.
I see. We like when Barker news comes out. So
thanks to Richard Rich for sending us that connection to that they're still working on the Underworld or Transmutations or however you want to call it.
Right. Yeah, we mostly refer to it as Transmutations mainly because of, we don't want to confuse it with the werewolf movies from like 2005 or whatever.
Yeah, not a big fan of those. I don't think I've ever seen all of them. I might have seen the first one.
No, and this podcast having no beginning will have no end. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. You can chat with us on our Facebook BarkerCast listeners group, our Facebook page, Twitter, or our new Discord server. Watch for our annual Kickstarter fundraisers to get some cool stuff, and you can buy t-shirts on our TeePublic store. Go to tpublic.com and search for BarkerCast. Opening music by Ray Norrish, end credit music by Matt Furness.
Thanks for listening.